welcome back after our very extended break to the WGL APAC World of Tanks video game that we like to play here. Alex, I thought I was going to go with there and it's kind of dropped out, but I do want to thank you all for your patience and bearing with us as we did get through that little bit of a bumpy road. Coalitions are unfortunately forfeiting out their game, so they go down 5-0, Alex, not 5-1.
No, that's not a 5-0. That's a null and void. There's no score that we can put on.
Well,
that,
we'll take that out with Jordan when we're done here. I'm sure he'll agree with me on that. But look,
I'm calling it a null and void because I predicted that game as 5-1, and it's definitely not 5-0. You know?
Alrighty, well, we'll save that for another time. But look, next up we got Darkwolves taking on Caren Tiger. And I have a feeling Caren Tiger aren't going to need a forfeit to 5-0 this game because right now it's looking quite one-sided where we're sitting. Yeah,
look, I mean, the issue is it's the Darkwolves, which is issue number one. And the second issue is it's after the latest patch. And
I thought you were going to say it's the Darkwolves again.
Well, that's also another issue. But look, we've seen the Darkwolves play once already since the patch.
Yep.
They actually played in yesterday's match against Team Efficiency, which was their rescheduled week 1 match from the season. And you'd almost think that maybe, you know, the Darkwolves, they do sort of like picking some pretty heavy tanks.
Yeah.
They have kind of been known to before. They're not that comfortable in mediums. So they might do better this patch. Now that we've got the mouse that's so popular, now that the Type 5 Heavy is so popular, now that the bat chats have dropped off a bit. Unfortunately for them, they went down in a convincing 5-0 to Team Efficiency.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, coming up against Caren Tiger, who themselves are probably the best mouse players in the competition.
I was going to say, to be fair to Darkwolves, Team Efficiency looked really good in their last game in the mouses. They were able to play that quite well. And you got to remember, Darkwolves, they also took 2 rounds off EL last time they played. But
not wrong.
I guess you got to come back to it. Like you said, it is a new meta, and we have yet to see them play on stage here. So here are the Darkwolves on your screen. Can they adapt to the meta? We're going to actually get to see that first and foremost, excuse me. But look, I think you're right. You do have a lot of players on this roster that can do quite well in the heavy tanks, but I don't know. It's yet to be seen, because you got to remember on the other side as well, Caren Tiger just as strong.
Yeah, look, Darkwolves here. I think we've got to keep an eye on Lambert. Got to keep an eye on Gomley as well. I actually think that Gomley, you know, no matter how the rest of his team is doing, he will be playing in that mouse, and he will be playing really well and making a big impact. Last season, he had the most damage blocked out of any player in the entire season. So, look, Gomley, I think he's going to be one to watch. Lambert as well for the Darkwolves, and you know, if they step up, who knows what might happen.
Yeah, of course, on the other side, you've got to look at Caren Tiger, though. Like you mentioned just before, probably the best mouse players do inhabit this roster.
Yep.
So I'm really hard-pressed to find a way that Darkwolves can really make a dent in the mouse's armor. And we saw just in our last game, I think, who was it that had 5.4k damage blocked?
It was Safi, I think.
Safi's with the mouse on him was 5.4k damage blocked. And look, you've got some of these players on Caren Tiger, like Nadeko, and pretty much any of these guys can step up and play the mouse. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them push 6k damage block.
Yeah, absolutely, and definitely got to look up for these two guys on both of these teams. Revolution for the Darkwolves and AkiOV. 2 pretty solid players. AkiOV, we've seen him a little bit on and off this season, but still, you know, still makes it work with about 1,500 average damage dealt. Revolution just a little bit behind that, and Revolution as well, though, he does have pretty high average distance travelled, so that's one... I don't know if you could call it a positive trait, but apart from that, just, better stats on AkiOV's side. He is still one to look out for here on Caren Tiger. Not sure whether we'll be seeing him moving away from those bat chats now and maybe into something like a Type 5 Heavy, maybe even a mouse. A little bit more average spotted as well. So, look, 2 pretty strong players on both of their respective lineups. But I think we might also be seeing, Rogi, now that this new patch has come out, now that we will be seeing kind of the super heavy players performing a lot better and making more of an impact in the battle, I think we're going to be seeing those guys more and more. So,
I agree.
Time to take a look at that map picks.
Yeah, we got Mines and Cliffs being vetoed out by their respective teams. They'll be taken away from Darkwolves. Then Caren Tiger. Then we have Ruinberg up first, picked by the Darkwolves. And Caren Tiger have rebutted that one with the Himmels.
Yeah, look, Ruinberg first. It's not a bad map for the Darkwolves. Most maps are. I would like to see the Darkwolves after that pick a Ghost Town next up. They're the only two sort of decent maps that the Darkwolves can play. Himmelsdorf first for Caren Tiger. They're great on Himmels, particularly on the Himmels defense. And I think there was a good veto out there of Mines from the Darkwolves because CT on Mines look pretty damn hard to break. Ruinberg, though, it's interesting because Darkwolves have picked that. It is actually Caren Tiger's best map, and it is a mouse map.
I know, that's the thing, right? And Caren Tiger played that mouse strategy so well post-buff.
Yeah.
Now after...
Pre-buff, yeah.
Yeah, pre-buff, sorry. Now that we see what they can accomplish with the post-buff mouse, I'm really worried for Darkwolves. Hopefully they have a strategy in mind. Keep in mind, Ruinberg was the map that they are 2-0'd EL Gaming on.
Yep, that's right, absolutely. Steps and Prokhorov get taken out there by Caren Tiger and the Darkwolves. Again, Caren Tiger just not really wanting to play Steps. They're not great on it, so I do think that's, you know, pretty good.
Yep.
Ghost Town picked there by Caren Tiger. They're actually not that brilliant on Ghost Town, but I think now that the mouse buff has come in, I think that will be an indirect buff to Caren Tiger on Ghost Town. Muravanka there, honestly, I'll be surprised if we get that far by the Darkwolves. But
never know.
If we do, it's not a great map for Caren Tiger at least. So there we go.
Yeah, one more time. Of course, you got Ruinberg up first. Darkwolves, they were able to 2-0 EL Gaming on it last time they played. So maybe they've got some more good strategies to bust out. And of course, Himmelsdorf, Ghost Town, Muravanka, and Mines will be your last map, should we make it that far. But got to remember, Caren Tiger, I really think coming into this game, there's only one way that Darkwolves beat the Caren Tiger, and it's if Caren Tiger beat themselves. Because right now, Caren Tiger have looked like their own worst enemy. Some games they show up, some games they absolutely do not.
Yeah,
their inconsistency is ridiculous.
Yeah, look, they have been looking very often on very shaky recently, you know, not winning some of those matches which they really should have. You know, their last 5 matches that they played Caren Tiger here, you know, they've lost 3 of them. So this is really the time for them to come back. They need to show after this patch, and particularly on some maps, if we get to Muravanka, that they aren't so comfortable on, they need to show that they've still kind of got it, I suppose, and can start off consistently on this new patch where they really should be looking pretty good with these kind of Mousers and Type 5 super heavies coming into favour.
Interesting stuff, and I'm curious to see just how heavy Caren Tiger go here, because we know they favour triple mouse on a lot of maps here.
Exactly. Like
maybe 4?
Exactly. Caren Tiger have done triple mouse like pre-patch.
Yeah.
So post-patch, honestly, you can't say that you'd be surprised to see them do 4, maybe even, you know, 5 mouses.
5 over in NA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
We know it's like a possibility, and you're really hard-pressed to find, especially when I just come back to watching Safi playing on Himmels and literally just bouncing every single shot. Well, not bouncing, but just being able to avoid getting penetrated every single shot that came through, and you're really hard-pressed to find a reason to not pick the mouse in those scenarios.
Exactly. You know, heading on to Himmelsdorf, that would definitely be, you know, a map where throughout this season we will be seeing more and more Mouses, and it essentially will become a mainstay.
Yep,
so,
the mouse.
And yeah, I'm not too sure about the Moisen. We haven't seen the Moisen at all. Although, honestly, if you're going for a tier 9, then it is hard to go past the Type 4 heavy, just because it's got that gun, which, like we saw last game, can just, you know, go through the side of a Batchet or a Batchet AP and completely wreck it. So that is another kind of factor which these teams are going to be having to consider, particularly on these closer quarters maps like Himmelsdorf, like Ghost Town, which we might see here, you know, in this matchup. But look, first up, I think it's going to be a good little litmus test of how well Caren Tiger are playing after the patch, because we've seen the Darkwolves yesterday. We, you know, obviously saw that they weren't looking too confident on it. No matter how many Mouses they picked, they were getting into the Mouses and the Type 5s yesterday.
Yeah, that's true. I guess team efficiency, though, you got to remember how well they looked as well.
Yeah.
So I really think this is going to be a good test to see not how well Darkwolves are adjusting to the patch, because we know they're kind of faltering a little bit, but how well Caren Tiger are, because this is a great opportunity for them, because they are kind of in a shaky position right now, where their spot in that top 2 is not assured. It's far from it, actually. So they really need to have the dream run to get back up to that top 2 qualifying spot. And I feel like a team with such experience in heavy tanks, now in a heavy tank dominated meta, this is their best opportunity to go for that dream run.
Look, you'd certainly hope so, because if Caren Tiger don't show up after this patch and really sort of take some convincing wins early on, then you've got to start to be a little bit worried for them, because this is the patch where they should be getting ahead. And we look at this matchup, and the last time that it happened, actually, the Darkwolves did beat Caren Tiger. So that's why, in terms of predictions in this one, I initially made my prediction earlier this week, and you know what I thought? Okay, last time these two teams played, it was a 5-2 to the Darkwolves, so a very convincing victory that we didn't see coming. But I think it definitely won't be that convincing to the Darkwolves this time. I don't see any potential way that it could be a 5-2.
Yeah.
I am going to be locking in a 5-4 to Caren Tiger.
So you haven't gone completely mad, just a little bit mad.
Just a little bit, exactly. But look, I think Caren Tiger, again, it does depend on how well they can adapt to the patch. That's why I've gone with a 5-4. I don't know how well they've adapted.
Yeah.
You know, if they really sink their teeth into the mouses, if they just show us that they are the super mouse players that we know them to be, then it could very well be what you predicted.
Yeah, keep in mind, myself and Jordan have gone for that 5-2 victory over to Caren Tiger. And if there are 2 rounds that Darkwolves can get, it's going to be on Ruinberg, considering that Darkwolves were able to take out EL 2-0 on Ruinberg.
Well, you're not wrong, actually. Yeah, they did. They did beat EL on Ruinberg, so even though the guys on Caren Tiger are very good at Ruinberg, this could be their undoing, because Darkwolves have proven that they're good on Ruinberg. Let's find out what we're picking. Oh, there we go.
Oh, man.
That's the stuff.
Welcome to World of Tanks, baby.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to patch 9.17.1, where we see massive super heavies and STRVs as well.
A lot of them.
This is really interesting that the Darkwolves are not actually going with any mouses here. Instead, just going for those Type 5s and Type 4s.
Look at the tiny little bat chat down there.
Yeah.
The baby chat.
Well, actually, that's... Actually, I'm just looking at that. Oh, okay, so they've got the tier 10 arty. I read those and it didn't register in my head that the Type 4s are actually tier 9 for a second. But of course, they've got the 2 tier 9s and they've actually got the tier 10 arty in that batch. And now that is actually... I tell you what, it's innovative, if nothing else, from the Darkwolves there.
And they're going to need innovation.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, that tier 10 arty, that bad chat, it is actually really hard to play against if you're in a mouse and do it right. But, oh, no, look at this. Hold that thought, because it's looking like the guys on the Caren Tiger coming up fast.
Yeah, they really want to go in here, and looks like it's Darkwolves actually getting on in. They may have found Spitz. They may be able to take him out if they're not careful. He's got to really get back. He's just going to go down. Akio V. Caren Tiger answer with a first kill off the board, and a very fast one at that.
Yeah, there we go. So a good first kill there by Caren Tiger. Now Polly's going to be getting away, getting that reload happening, and I mean, that's exactly what Caren Tiger needed to do against this lineup. You know, that's why you pick Batchats, to use their mobility, right? And that's exactly what Caren Tiger have done. Getting in there quick, getting a nice little pick kill before that S-Tank can, you know, get itself down, get itself out of mobility mode and into siege mode. And, you know, it's still not going to be easy for them, because there's a lot of damage, a lot of health still on the field of the Darkwolves.
I feel like if you're on Darkwolves and you see a team running 3 mouse, the last thing you're going to be expecting is to be contested immediately. And yes, guys, obviously we know that, unfortunately, the names of the teams are back to front. You'll have to bear with us for one round, and we'll get that sorted for the next one. So, of course, it is Caren Tiger on the attack and Darkwolves on the defense.
Yeah, look, and right now, those Mousers looking towards that 2 flag here for Caren Tiger. Wouldn't be surprised to see them pushing out towards it. And Polyakio V looking out towards that 1 flag now. Now that they've got that initial pick, there's not really too much that these Batchats can kind of do on their own. I think as long as Darkwolves just keep on sitting in their spots, then it should be okay. The issue now for Caren Tiger as well is that they don't want their Mousers to get spotted while they're moving out in the open, because Darkwolves do have that Batchat that Bakong's playing, Batchat 155-58. Of course, that auto-loading French Tier 10 artillery.
First time we've seen it?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is, because there's never really been a reason to pick it before, but you know, when you're up against Mousers, like that Batchat can get a clip, essentially a clip off on a mouse, because they're so slow, so big, so easy to hit, and that is a lot of damage. You know, a clip of a Batchat arties.
Caren Tiger doing their kind of patented triple mouse strat that always works out well for them on Ruinberg, and they've already got a massive advantage by taking out the STRV very early on in this game. That was nuts. I can't believe they were able to get away with that rush, but I guess it does come back to Darkwolves really not expecting a team running triple mouse to be contesting them in their own village. So Caren Tiger slowly but surely moving up very slowly at that. The rest of the squad just kind of hanging out around the main village area. You can see the triple mouse threat moving its way up to the 2 flag here. We'll have to see how Darkwolves answer or respond. The auto-loading artillery will be enough to potentially take out.
I almost would have liked to have seen the Darkwolves take a little bit more map control than this, because, I mean, this isn't really working. They needed to get that earlier spot so that they could kind of get that arty starting to work, you know?
I love how they're just like, they're not going on the hill, so they can try and sneak their way in. 2 of the Mousers are going to be spotted as they make their way forward into the city. AKV, Polly, and Mudame are all kind of creeping up around as well. Going to be going for a bit of a sneaky approach here. AKV on your screen. Looking to maybe make an approach up along the B line. Try to go for a flank. Mudame is in the 2 flag at the moment in the WZ.
Yeah, okay. I like that there by Caren Tiger. Putting Mudame in towards that 2 flag. And we can see now, it's 1 minute and 45 seconds left. Darkwolves reacting slowly. I mean, they don't need to react fast, I guess. But yeah, with Mudame in there, Caren Tiger holding that town. It's not a bad move. It's not a bad move here from Caren Tiger.
And look, they have to get through 9,600 HP just to get on the hill, and it's such an uphill battle against 3 mouse. I really don't see an easy way for Darkwolves to get in here without just taking so much damage. I mean, the improved armor in pretty much all aspects, more health, and a quicker reload time. The mouse just won out on the buff lottery this patch, Alex.
Absolutely, and we can see Caviar now, he is struggling. He just got Polly that kind of put a clip in towards him, and now he has to try and deal with Marrow and that mouse. And the only real way that the S-Tank can kind of deal with the mouse is if it gets so close that the mouse can't even aim down on it, but I don't think he's game enough to do that.
Wouldn't that be a sight?
Yeah, Revolution taking a few shots though, and really we need to see more damage coming out of the Darkwolves. You can see all around Caren Tiger's side on the left there. I mean, they're barely scratched. They've still got 2 Mousers on full HP. Like, look at that HP difference, 8.5 thousand versus 14.6 thousand.
Now, when you read these happy tanking things, do you read them in Jordan's voice?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I definitely do. And it feels like he's here on the desk with us, Alex.
Yeah, it does.
Unfortunately. Well, that looks like, yeah, Darkwolves, sorry, really struggling to find a way into this game at the moment. The Type 4 Heavy slowly but surely moving its way up, and he's just going to start getting peppered out by pretty much all the tanks that have set themselves up in this little town here. And still a minute left. Minute 10 on the capture. Don't really think that this is Caren Tiger's strategy of winning the game, more or less just something to draw the Darkwolves out with.
Yeah, and look, this isn't working for the Darkwolves at all. Caviar in that S-Tank, I don't know why he's that far forward. Yui in that Type 4, you know, that's not a great shot, only 400 damage. Yes, it is some damage, but when you compare it to Yui's reload time and the health of those Mousers, it's just not going to make a dent. It's as simple as that.
No, so the red line means you can't go any further back, Yui, no matter how hard you hit that reverse. You're pretty much stuck there, maters. Good shot from Mara. Will take out Yui. The Type 4 Heavy, he's not going to get anything done with that one. Mudame still just hanging out in the cap. 30 seconds left on that one. Looks like Revolution and Lambert maybe trying to go for a play onto AkyaV and Polly. Don't think we've seen anything out of the artillery either.
I don't think so, but Revolution there, again, he's going to be caught out. He's going to be in a lot of trouble. And you're right, we have not seen anything out of Backong here. I haven't seen him empty out any clips into those Mouses, and that's why the Darkwolves needed to play that one a little bit more aggressively. They needed to get some scouts in towards the town, because by the time they had spotted out those Mouses, they were already behind the cover of the buildings.
Yep.
And it's useless having an artillery piece if you're not going to get those spots early.
Oh, he goes down as well. 2 tanks left on the field for Darkwolves. Caren Tiger should have no trouble sweeping up the last bit there. Gomley, last player left alive in the Type 4 Heavy. He goes down as well. So a very convincing start to the series for Caren Tiger, and I feel like it may be easy to just call this a 5-0 after that one.
Like, seriously, after watching that, I don't know what the Darkwolves are doing. I actually don't know, because, I mean, they're tanks. That was the only thing. It was like, kind of okay. But even then, like, you think about it, you're always going to encounter Mouses on that map, and I just don't think three Japanese heavies have the damage to deal with 3 Mouses. You know, you're firing HE at a Mouse which, yes, having 1, maybe 2 of them at a stretch, you know, could work if you're just going for trades. But in an all-out brawl like that, the damage per minute of the Mouse is just going to fly way above the Japanese heavies, and there's no reason to pick them instead of it. Like, the only reason to pick them would have been because they could get some early shots in towards those bat chats and maybe wreak a bit of havoc there, but 3 of them, just a little bit too much for me. They needed a Mouse or 2, and they also needed not to lose that S-Tank. And that was the other thing that was very confusing.
That was such a huge play out of Caren Tiger.
Yeah.
To be able to get away with that as well, that's just, Darkwolves just dropped the ball, I feel.
Well, exactly, and I think that's the good thing about Caren Tiger's play there is because the Darkwolves had so many of those slow tanks. You know, they had an Artie, they had 3 Japanese heavies. You know, they didn't have a fast lineup. They had another S-Tank, or essentially 2 S-Tanks as well. So really, they didn't have tanks that could have been mobile enough to stop that. And
it was very clever.
Exactly. In this early kill, there was nothing really that Darkwolves could have done. So great play from Caren Tiger.
Yeah, if you saw the positioning on the map of the Darkwolves, they were just so far back without really anything to do about that one. And Gomley eventually does go down here. Caren Tiger, I don't think they lost the tank.
Yeah, they didn't. And, so close. Caviar and Gomley just scratching in there to number 6 and 7 of the top 7 damage dealers there. And that was another thing that was a little bit weird there by the Darkwolves, picking 2 S-Tanks and pushing them that far forward. Like, an S-Tank is not designed to be within brawling range, you know? No. I just don't think it's a tank that really works that far forward on Ruinberg. I mean, yeah, maybe in a very slim possibility that Caren Tiger just would have decided to push their Mouses out without any help, then yeah, the S-Tank could have got a little bit of damage, but I mean, there's still better tanks that you can pick to deal with that.
Speaking of that, like, what are these better tanks to deal with it? Because right now, it just seems like the Mouse is reigning supreme. And like you said, innovation is a good thing. But when your innovation is hitting for 407 damage, maybe it's not.
407, yeah, Back Kong there. 407, that is just, it's not pretty. And Spit's getting 0 damage. I mean, like, there's a few TDs which can kind of semi-deal with the Mouse, like a T110 E3 maybe. Honestly, even a Grill.
We saw the Grill do good.
Look, even after the nerf, the Grill, I think, still has a place there on the Ruinberg defense, potentially. And again, the other thing that deals with the Mouse is another Mouse. You know, like, it really is as simple as that. So I think we need to see a bit of a back to the drawing board scenario here for the Darkwolves if they want a chance of staying in this next half of Ruinberg, because literally Caren Tiger had more than 10,000 hit points left at the end of that battle.
You don't see that. I know that's a byproduct of having a multiple Mouse on the team, but you got to remember, Caren Tiger would regularly run 3 Mouse on Ruinberg anyway. So nothing's really changed in the tanks that they're rolling out with. It's just that they're better at doing it now. So still, not being able to force them below 10k HP is just Darkwolves just not playing the game. Basically not in it.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, the Darkwolves there, I really feel as though they just needed to, like, pick some different tanks. because that was it. That was what lost them, what lost it for them. Caren Tiger just recognizing that the Darkwolves had absolutely no early response, no rapid response on their lineup, so they could just go in there, get that pick on that STRV.
That was very smart. I think that was a very smart pick from Caren Tiger, being able to just like go for it.
Exactly. So look, hopefully in this next half here, the Darkwolves can come up with something else big. I mean, I'd like to see a few different tank destroyers, maybe, you know, throw in an American TD or two. What else could we see here? Grill, maybe. Honestly, even a Jagdpanzer E100, like, that'll deal with a mouse okay, because it's got a friggin' high amount of penetration on its gun. Like, no, seriously.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's got very high alpha.
Well, I feel like that's what you need to do, is you need to start looking at some of these tanks that maybe people have overlooked, because if the damage output isn't as high as it would be to counter a Batshat, you need the armor pen now as maybe the main resource if all the people are running the mouse.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, I mean, I'm not too sure what to expect here in this next half between Caren Tiger and the Darkwolves. I don't, like, I think out of all the maps where you could pick a tier 10 arty, Ruinberg, defense as well, like, that's not the sort of map that works with that tier 10 arty
There's a lot
without spotters.
Yeah. Well,
so.
Kind of not getting spots is a byproduct of losing one of your tanks in the first 10 seconds of play. So hopefully that that doesn't happen for Darkwolves again. They can kind of get a lid on this game before it boils over. But once again, coming back to Caren Tiger, I just think they look super strong. Regardless of being able to get that early pick, they played the rest of the game perfectly. They moved their mouse up completely unseen until they're already behind the skyline there of the buildings. And there's really nothing from then on out that Darkwolves could do. They tried to move their Type 4-5 heavy respectives into the village, and they just got bombarded. They just got completely fired upon the second that they came through. They tried to get some little nook and crannies of their own to survive in, but it just wasn't the case.
Exactly. So, look, I mean, thinking about what we're going to be seeing next on this next half from Caren Tiger, I still wouldn't be surprised to maybe see a tier 8 arty from them. I think tier 10 is just a little bit of overkill on Ruinberg when there's other better tier 10s to pick on this map where you know you might have a brawl, but maybe a tier 8 wouldn't be too bad. And then again, Mousers, like hopefully we see some Mousers on the Darkwolves side as well, Rogie.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where they either have to evolve, adapt, or just die. And Darkwolves, they really need to start getting some wins on the board, because they have to catch up to B Gaming if they want to make that 6th spot. And
exactly. And at the moment, that is looking like a very, very slim possibility.
It's a long stretch, but we did, me and Jordan, we did the math. We had a look. It's not impossible yet. Coalition Zoo and Darkwolves are not out with they're not out just yet. They still have a shot to get back into that 6th position, depending on how well B Gaming do, of course. So it's not over yet. They still have hope, but if they're going to continue to play like that, then they may as well bow out.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong. So, look, I'm hoping that this time the Darkwolves can kind of take the fight to Caren Tiger here, get into it, and do all that fun Ruinberg stuff, because they've proven that they are good on Ruinberg occasionally. They beat EL Gaming on it, 2-0. To start off their first match last week, and to see them go down 2-0 to Caren Tiger, I mean, I think I'd pretty much just ride out the rest of the match if they did so. So, look, hopefully this time, a few less Type 4s, a few less Type 5s, a few more Mousers, maybe a TD or two.
Well, I guess without further ado, let's find out what tanks they'll be rolling onto the second half of Ruinberg with. There we go, couple mouse for Darkwolves, only one for Caren Tiger. They've decided to pick themselves up that artillery as well. Gone for the Lorraine.
Okay.
Couple 113s on each team.
Interesting that Caren Tiger are only going with that one mouth, instead opting for the two FE 215Bs. Obviously, the good thing with the 215B is that it is a very nice tank in terms of damage, got a very nice gun, so if it gets into a brawling scenario, it can definitely kind of hold its own up against the mouse in the extended fight.
That's really what you're looking for these days, isn't it? Can it hold its own up against the mouse?
Yep, exactly.
Jumping into the second half of Ruinberg here, Caren Tiger up 1-0. Darkwolves had a bit of a shoddy round before, but they're looking to redeem themselves here. Gomley at least gets some of it with that fat air. Mad props to you, my friend. But Caren Tiger not going to fall for, not going to make any mistakes that Darkwolves didn't overextend some of their tanks without at least having some of the heavies nearby. But looks like Darkwolves actually doing a very Caren Tiger-esque strategy here.
Yeah, okay.
Judging by their position.
So the Darkwolves here, heading out, or getting ready to head out towards the 2 flag, and this is a little bit more standard. This is what we kind of expect to see. Oh, that should be, oh no, Bakong's in the RU251, never mind. So Bakong is just going to be staying here, and Caren Tiger are going to know that there's someone there. And not spotted him out yet, actually, so Bakong is still safe. Polly, surprised he was able to dodge that many shots, even.
He's got to be careful. Copped at least 1 or 2. Got his fuel tank damaged. See Spitz and Lambert moving up. Spitz should get spotted out any second now. And wow, look at the damage on that mouse, Alex.
Not much.
He's really copping some flack.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately for him, though, Lambert is actually tracked. So there we go. That one's repaired now, and he should be able to keep on moving up. And even though he's taken so many of these shots, he's only just now dropped below the health of an FV215B. So what Darkwolves really need to do is spot these FVs out so they can start returning fire. Well,
as Darkwolves slowly but surely move their way up to the fight, I want to have a quick jump in with Caren Tiger's comms because I think it's going to be something along the lines of shoot the mouse, shoot the mouse, shoot the mouse.
Spitz 潰すねあれ。
ロードロード。
今 50B こっちから撃ってきたよ。50B こっちから撃ってきたよ。
おべさんあのマウス落とせる。
あ、これ一さんの視界俺まずいんだけどこれ。
あ、これ前。
前
一さん押さえてもらわないとこれ困るこれ。
これマウス寄る？マウス寄る？
やって回せても。
オッケー行くわ。俺でも狙われてる。
まだしばらく。あとどんぐらい持つ？まだしばらく。
いや、俺カバー入ってるから、俺今カバー入ってる。ナイスオペさん。あ、50B 来た。
50B 寄ってきてるわ。次バースーツ。マロ君全速できて
今これ当てに来る俺の方。
来る。
俺ジェロライン行くよ。まずユイどっちだろう。持つ 215B。
持たないなそれ。
マロ君真ん中やっちゃう。自分が一発受けるわ。
最初900の方で。
俺ジェロラインいけないよ。
Much better this time. Maybe it's still a little bit of a messy fight, but they still have 7 tanks alive on the field. Modame, he's quite far up, but he does have Maru to back him up. You can see the fight's going to be a 2v2 Modame. That's him going to be taking out Spitz. Don't know why we're watching RU251 just kind of skate around here when there's big action going on. Polly doing work. Takes out the 50B.
Yeah, there we go. Look at that. And Yui taking out Marrow. So this is looking pretty even so far. Both teams losing. Well, both teams having 2 tier 10s down, but that changes as Mudame's just gone down there for Caren Tiger.
Yeah, that looked fun.
That looked very fun. and the issue here for Caren Tiger is that now they have the Artie on the field as well. So let's not forget that might not be doing that much damage per minute now. And they're starting to struggle. No Mouses left.
Oh, but he is able to get one onto the 113. That's huge. Kind of paying his weight. Right there, paying his way rather, and Bakong very low, Gomley very low, Lambert bleeding as well. Polly is able to take out Bakong in the A251, so all that's left on the field for Darkwolves is a Mouse and a 113. Still 3 combat tanks alive for Caren Tiger, and if Opalisk is able to get off at least one more shot, then he's done his damage.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good here for Caren Tiger.
Here comes Gomley.
Oh, yeah, no, there you go.
That's a great shot.
That's it, and that is the Artie paving, kind of paying its way, you know, making
that's why they bring Opalisk in, to play the Artie. He's a great artillery player and really cementing himself as one of the best. Gomley goes down. Lambert, last player left alive, and it was looking very close for Darkwolves, and I don't know, you may be quite invulnerable as you deflect 3 shots, but eventually one's going to slip through, dodges the 4th. Let's play a little game here, Alex.
Now he can't even spot them. Maybe if he could spot them,
5,
then it'd be like, oh yeah, this is funny. You know, maybe he can pull something off. But without actually having those FVs spotted,
there we go. He's able to get it on the 6th shot.
There we go. 6 times the charm, as they say.
I don't think they say that at all. But
I do.
they might start, Alex.
Yeah.
6 times a charm.
Shooting against the mouse.
Shooting mouse. Look, 6 times if you're talking on the low end of that spectrum.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, a great win coming out of Caren Tiger. The artillery really coming through at the very end. I unfortunately didn't get to see what else he did throughout the game. The post-damage statistics should shed some light on the damage dealt from Opalisk here. But he really, at the last moments, gets the kill onto the 113 and a big shot onto the mouse. And I know it's only 400 damage shot, but any damage seems to be a big shot on the mouse these days.
Not wrong, absolutely. So look, definitely well played by Opalisk there, well played by Caren Tiger to kind of make that fight work. You know, we could hear in their comms they were calling out some good primary targets, even if those primary targets unfortunately had to be the mouses on the Darkwolves side.
Yeah.
You know, we heard spits when we jumped in there, and I think those FE215Bs did work. They fulfilled their purpose.
Yeah.
That's what they're designed to do, to get into a brawl, a full all-out brawl with the mouses and just out DPM them, and they definitely did that effectively.
Yep, you can see the mouse fight. Oh, actually Modame picking up that one, and this just, he's backed up into the corner with literally nowhere to go, with the mouse staring him down, and he gets taken out. And 4K damage, it's I think you and Jordan are correct when you said the damage stats are just going to be so inflated throughout this patch. Like, very rarely you see a tank getting 4K damage, let alone 3. Like, obviously I'm going to round AKOV up from 3.9, but like 3 tanks getting around about 4K damage
crazy.
average. That's insane. That's absolutely insane.
Yep, well, there we go. That's that's what we have on the new patch. It is Mouse Central over here. Yep. And yeah, Polly with that 113 4K damage. Akio V, the FE215B 4K damage. And Opalisk actually definitely pulling his weight with 2,000 damage, 7 shots fired, 1 kill on towards that 113. So he definitely came up pretty big there for Caren Tiger.
Yeah, I really think Caren Tiger have got a hold on this meta, it seems. They know how to abuse it and they know how to counter it. But, of course, you've got to remember the team that they're up against. Darkwolves, looking very shaky. Well, not even shaky, just downright a little bit weak recently. It's Caren Tiger, of course, looking shaky here, but it seems like this meta has kind of rejuvenated them a little bit. I do want to wait and see a few days when teams start to figure it out a little bit better before I start getting ahead of myself on which teams are really coming into their own form. But regardless, this is a great start for Caren Tiger, and they need these points. They need to start gaining on team efficiency.
Yep, that is correct. And they're down the bottom 7 on the scoreboard. We can see Batcon obviously in the IE251 didn't do too much. Spits, only 1,000 damage in the mouse. You'd definitely be looking to deal a little bit more than that. I mean, he did get focus fired and primary down by Caren Tiger, but I mean, you still need to put a little bit more than essentially 2 shots out, which is what he did. So look, I like Darkwolves there in terms of they pick some better tanks. I think that's a pretty solid lineup for the attack there on Ruinberg, the double mouse strategy with a few other kind of heavies thrown in there, but just didn't quite execute it well. You know, those mouses took way too much damage coming into the fray, and just kind of not having the FE215Bs spotted out of Caren Tiger. That was a big issue because they had actually taken about 500 damage or so each before they, maybe even more, before they actually spotted out those
that's
FEs.
why I love Caren Tiger's Ruinberg so much, is because they seem to be able to get those mouse up to that forward aggressive area without taking the buttload of damage that usually comes with it. And I'm curious to why we haven't seen more teams kind of implement that. I imagine when you're going up against Caren Tiger, you kind of know that if they got 3 mouse, where they're going and how they're going to be going about it, and you try to scout that out, but it doesn't look like teams have caught on to that just yet.
Doesn't seem like it, does it? No. So, look, I think Caren Tiger, I mean, they do set an example on Ruinberg, right? They've got an 86% Ruinberg attack win rate.
Yeah,
so,
they look good.
You know, seeing them win that, it isn't that surprising. And on the defense, 71% as well. So, they are a very strong Ruinberg team. And I would almost say more so than EL Gaming. And so, in a respect, when the Darkwolves beat EL Gaming and Ruinberg last week, you know, coming into this one, like, it still wasn't necessarily a default win for them.
Yeah, and then of course we got up next we got Himmelsdorf coming through, another map that really just favors these massive brick tank, the mouse and the Type 5 heavy, even the Type 4 heavy we've seen making its debut on the APAC region as well. So coming into Himmels, I'm really worried for Darkwolves right now. I don't know how much gas they got left to run with here. And I don't know, going down on Ruinberg 0-2 after last week taking out EL 2-0, and I'm sure maybe that was the reason they picked it first, because they go, hey, if we can take out EL 2-0, we can take out any team. Then proceeding to get smacked on it, I think that's got to be a kick to the gut, bit of confidence shattered there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So look, here on Himmelsdorf, I definitely am going to be hoping that we see some kind of different tanks. You know, Caren Tiger have typically picked some interesting tanks on Himmelsdorf here. Darkwolves, not too sure what they'll be picking, but you know, maybe something standard, maybe some more of those Type 4s that we saw earlier on. But I would definitely like to be seeing some interesting stuff coming out of Caren Tiger.
Well, you said yourself, Darkwolves, they tried to innovate on that first round there, and the Tier 10 artillery just didn't end up working for them. But like you said, it's bad circumstance to be playing it in. There are better opportunities to make that tank shine, and obviously they've tried it out before and it works in this meta. So I do want to see them not kind of just like brush it to the side thinking, oh yeah, it didn't work for us. Maybe that was just like a bad beat. Maybe they can make it work again. So I do want to see a little bit of innovation come through. But once again, I feel like Himmelsdorf isn't the map to do it.
No. Yeah, I mean, Himmelsdorf definitely, I mean, I'm sure you could pick, honestly, like 6 Mausers on Himmelsdorf and like an AMX 1390 and just be completely fine. You know, I'm sure you could. And I would actually really like, if any of the teams are watching, if Team Efficiency are watching, I know they always have some of the guys in chat, seriously, lads, next time on Himmelsdorf, 6 Mausers, or maybe even 7 Mausers by doing 5 Mausers and 2 Moiskins.
Do you want us to be here all night, Alex?
Moiskins.
Moiskin.
Moisen. I think it's Moisen.
We need Jordan on here. Jordan's great at doing the proper German pronunciations.
Yeah, well, Jordan's part German.
Huh? Well, you know.
So.
It's always good to get a little bit of insight onto the people that are taking up your evening every Saturday and Sunday nights.
It's funny, whenever Jordan speaks German, it always sounds very aggressive.
It's an aggressive language inherently, isn't it?
I think so.
I always think he's just making it up, because I didn't actually know he was part German when he started saying some words. So I was like, oh, he's just taking the mickey. He's just having a little bit of fun. And then the more I got to know him, the more
I make it up when I say Grilla 15.
Really?
Yeah, that's
you're very convincing, Alex.
I am. Thank you.
You convinced me about that ancient tank strategy the other night.
Yeah, that was great.
You've spun a few webs on the show, and caught a few flies.
They call me the spinster.
I don't think they do. I don't think anyone's called you the spinster before, Alex. But hell, they might start if you can keep a straight face off your.
I'll try.
Off your webs right
no
there.
Guarantees.
No guarantees.
Anyways, guys, it's time to head into Himmelsdorf. I think we might be seeing what kind of defensive web the guys on Caren Tiger will be spinning. I like that. That was quite good as well. So let's find out, I guess, what tanks we might be seeing. How many Mausers we can count? Will they be able to fit onto both hands?
Yeah, that was the question I was going to pose right next. And yeah, 4. One hand, easy.
Oh, easy peasy. And Caren Tiger actually going to be on the attack here for this one. And yeah, we've got 4 Mausers, 2 on either side. A Type 5 heavy for Caren Tiger, Type 4 heavy for the Darkwolves. Yep. Caren Tiger going with a little few lighter auto loaders apart from that. The Darkwolves going with an AMX 50B, an FE215B and IS-4. So I actually kind of like the Darkwolves tanks line up a little bit more here. Okay. IS-4 can deal with Mausers pretty well. It's got 2.5k HP, you know, decent gun. And they've actually gone with the T95, which is, in my eyes, another very strong tank actually dealing with the Mausers. Just last patch, it did get a bit of a buff, mainly to its movement speed, which is now increased to 20 meters per second. So
every little bit helps.
Absolutely, and it was quite slow before. Now it is just a little bit faster, and you know, compared to the Mausers.
Oh, look at that baby go!
Yeah, he's gunning it.
Look, he's getting to that 88 miles per hour. He's going to be going straight into the future to upgrade his engine and maybe come back in a little bit of a more modern tank. But wow, I'm surprised our observers can keep up, because it is absolutely hauling right now. Oh, don't worry, it's at a standstill. We can catch back up, catch our breath, and see their 6 sponsors. Shout outs to all the people that help make WGL APAC the booming success that it is, Alex.
Absolutely. The only annoying thing about that T95 is that it does only have 320 average penetration with gold on its top gun, which is roughly 10 lower than the kind of average that we see in WGL games here. Look, it's not the end of the world, but it maybe might mean that it misses 1 or 2 shots where you'd really like it to go through, which, you know, when you've got a gun that's dealing 750 damage a shot, it's not ideal. But look, I like the pick. It's a sturdy tank destroyer, even for tier 9. It can definitely put out a lot of damage. You know, it won't have any trouble going through the 113 really, or the AMX 50B, or the batch at the AMX. So it's definitely still a good pick. Can hold a lot.
Yep. You can see Darkwolves just kind of holding their ground here. They don't really have any reason to make an aggressive play here. They only sit on Caren Tiger, and with a Type 5 heavy and 2 mouse, you really got to pick your battles well, because any misplays will just result in a barrage of damage coming out of the Darkwolves. You can see Caviar and Gomley. Caviar, of course, in that blitzing fast T95. Gomley in the Type 4 heavy. Kind of just hanging out here, just waiting, poised, ready to unleash when the Caren Tigers show themselves.
Yep, well, if Gomley can kind of catch, I don't know, maybe a Bat Chad or Mudame in that Type 4 heavy, then you know, they could be sitting on the wrong end of 1400 damage or so. Yui, though, in that mouse, already taking a shot from the Type 5. And it's looking like Caren Tiger going to be making the push up now. Darkwolves, I mean, they should be ready for this. Caviar, it's good to see him getting a bit of an early rotate. It's going to be a faster rotate with that T95 now that's got its move speed buffed as well, which is very important.
Yeah.
But, uh-oh, I think we've got a Bat Chat coming down from the hill. That's not good for Darkwolves.
Yeah, if you can manage to get through the armor on the mouse, or maybe just completely avoid the slow-moving behemoths and get in, maybe clip out the AMX 1390 or catch one of those other Bat Chats off guard. And Caren Tiger, they're making the move down. They see Revolution, got a little bit of a cheeky shot on the way. Who else is there with him?
Oh, no. Polly's just left. Yeah, Polly's just left the AMX 50B to almost fend for himself. But there we go, gets a few more cheeky shots in. I think that Type 4 heavy might have even gone through the AMX 50B there. I think it was a massive shot.
He really punished him for kind of staying out there, and I guess Polly's to blame, as he was the one who caught their attention, and Hell Kurai pays the price. But you can see, 4 minutes down, Caren Tiger really yet to take the fight just yet. Darkwolves doing a good job of trading back, which is something in the past they've always struggled with.
Yeah, that's right. So, right now, we have got Accio V in that 113, just pushing up a little bit. And... oh, no,
not today.
Not today. Going to be missing that. Mudame there in the AMX 1390. Going to be pushing up. Wouldn't be surprised to have seen him headed towards that 1 flag to maybe get behind the little pillbox on it and start capping it up. And now that he is capped, spotted out, I think it's going to be a little bit harder for him. He is now despotted, so maybe we might still see him moving up towards the flag to start to get some pressure on. But at the moment, Caren Tiger have kind of hit a bit of a brick wall in terms of the Darkwolves defense. It's not going to be super easy for them to push in any particular way. They're going to really need to align that Bat Chat behind in A0, Polly, to, I guess, create a bit of an opening, you know, soften up some of those Darkwolves guys out in the 8 line, maybe even near the 2 flag, before they make a move.
Yeah, they're really just biding their time right now. 5 minutes down, 5 minutes left in the round here, and I like the spread out of Darkwolves at the moment. They're going to be keeping a pretty consistent, oh, that's Caren Tiger rather. Got a good spread out. Darkwolves, they've been pushed quite far back. They are managing to watch pretty much every avenue. Should Caren Tiger decide to attack, they're going to know where it's from. Polly, he's kind of just sneaking. If he goes down, he's going to run into the AMX 50B of Batkong, who's undamaged and I'm sure fully loaded. So really don't favor the Hell Kurai Polly flank, but Mudame is going to be on the 1 flag.
Okay. Mudame here on the 1 flag. I like that. We've got Revolution there taking a bit of damage, but Mudame on the flag. It's going to make things a little bit easier for Caren Tiger. Now, Revolution, it doesn't look like he's winning this little poke duel with the mouse.
No.
Not surprising. Oop, another one doesn't go through. Of course, the FV215B, it's got a nice turret. You know, little some shells, like we just saw there. Really like to see Caviar here making something work, though. Maybe getting in towards the side of that Type 5. There we go. That's some big shots going on to Nadeko.
I don't know what Nadeko's plan is right now, as he is still a ways off the reload. The FV215B We'll be able to get one more shot off before potentially going down. Not the best shot coming out of the Type 5 Heavy. He's still alive though, he's still chugging along. He's got to be careful because Revolution is off the reload, but the Mouse is going to come up and give him a little bit of safeguarding there. Takes out Revolution before he's able to get his shot off. Now Caviar looking for one round. Not going to be able to do it. The Deco gets a very small shot. Here comes Lambert. What can he do? He's got a Mouse in his sights. Is that really where he wants to spend his time? Can't even connect with any damage right now. And Polly in the 1v1 does go down to Batkong's AMX-50B. We saw that one coming a mile away. Lambert needs to go and get a few shots on these low HP targets. Shoots one into the back of the Mouse, but he wants to go for the reset because only 30 seconds left.
Good move there from Lambert. Should be able to get it fairly convincingly, but, well, actually Caviar going down there. So we've got 2 tanks down on either side, and there we go. We do see the reset enacted there by Mr. Lambert.
Lost though.
Yeah.
Lost a few tanks. Revolution and Caviar have gone down. Spitz and Hellcry in the 1v1. Hellcry getting a little bit of damage off, but Spitz is going to connect. He's quite low. Got to be careful. Ooh, Hellcry's got no bullets left. 20-second reload here. Spitz should have no trouble finishing him off, and Modame is just going to be being a bit of a nuisance, smacking Lambert in the back.
Yep, there we go, and Lambert does manage to take down Zenlong, so this is looking pretty good for the Darkwolves right now. Caren Tiger just getting a little bit too low. Mudame, he's on full health, but he's not really a factor.
Oh, great shot by Akio.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
They got to take out the other Mouse here, or else if Modame is the last person left alive, he's going to have a really difficult time doing anything if Spitz is still up.
Yeah, look, you honestly do need to see Mudame kind of coming in and making something work, because I don't really feel as though this cap pressure is real or a threat to them at all. Yupa, ricocheting one more shot. Oh, he gets it onto... Oh my goodness, look at that.
It's so damn close. Here comes Akio V as well, not finding the kill onto Gonley coming around the corner. The Mouse will be reloaded first, but Lambert's in a perfect position to avoid any of the danger. It's a 2 versus 4 right now. They need to get this Mouse off the field. Modame and Akio V answer back with 2 kills of their own. Akio, he's going to have to book it out of there as fast as he can, but Modame, he's still alive with a full clip at an AMX 1390.
Yeah, look, I don't think this is going to be a Caren Tiger win here, because we've got an AMX 50B on full HP. Yep, there we go. Look, Mudame, he's giving it a good old crack, actually.
Yeah, he's doing
in the AMX 1390, he's started to do quite a bit of work. And oh, I wonder, does Mudame just go for it? Does he just go for the hero play here? He's only going to need one more shot to take down Batkong.
You need a minute to play with, though. He's got to be careful.
He needs to go big. He needs to go big here.
Go big or go home. This is a test of his mettle right now. Where does he want to go? He's only got 3 shots. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to clip out Lambert.
Why does he go for the reload there?
He knows that he needs to take the fight.
Yeah, sorry. He does. I take that back. He does actually need to go.
He's only got 10 seconds to play with after his reload, so he needs to. He had to do it before it was mathematically impossible.
Yeah. Oh, this. I mean, look, this. I'll say probably won't happen, because for an AMX 1390 to go through the front of an IS-4 is not going to be easy at all, particularly when he's just taken that shot. And the AMX 50B is going to be off the reload now as well. So, and he's behind him. Yep.
I think he's sealed his own fate here. He's going to cop another shot before eventually going down here. Darkwolves able to get themselves one on the board. So, great stuff coming out of Darkwolves. They're not going down to the clean sweep.
No.
They're answering with at least 1 round. A great round at that.
Look, solid stuff there from the Darkwolves. I think Caren Tiger, I don't know. I mean,
it's so hard to tell who's winning these games.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's the issue with the new patch. It's like it just like that one there, that game. Normally on Himmelsdorf would be able to pinpoint the exact location a brawl would happen, because all of the defenders would rotate into the exact same spot. All of the attackers would just push right down into one area. But just that one, it was a very messy brawl, like split all across the map. Extended brawls in little 1v1s that weren't gone for so long, because all of these tanks now have so much health and so much armor. That it just takes so long to do anything to them. And I don't know whether, like, the Darkwolves there, was it actually their strong push that made something work? Caren Tiger, was it, like, the fact that they didn't already...
There's so many factors at play. It's really hard to pinpoint which was the defining one that decided the game. And when you have fights that are going on for like 6 minutes, a 1v1, because they're like 15-second reload time each, and then you're probably not even going to do any damage. It's it's so rough to call.
This was good. This was good actually by
Batcog.
Batcog. Yep, getting the kill on towards that bat chat. Accio V getting some good kills, and I think we will see it in the damage charts here, you know, who really did the work for either team. And it was actually Lambert in that IS-4 look. I did say that I like the IS-4, and that's why it is a very good tank at dealing with those Mausers. You know, it's got a nice gun, got nice amount of hit points, nice little buffer there, you know, decent enough armor. It's not going to block anywhere nearly as much as a Maus, but you can still rely on it to, you know, like at the end there, block a few shots from an AMX 1390, etc.
Yeah, you're right. If it was a different tank, then maybe that Mudame would have had a shot at bringing that game back in. But unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. Great stuff from Darkwolves being able to clinch out a win here. And once again, it's such a strange patch to watch, and we're still finding our bearings just as much as the players on what are the strongest avenues of attack. Because we usually see teams just go the YOLO banana push. We see them flank up from the castle, go down the hill, maybe a little cheeky play. But this was kind of a very delayed fight through the garden.
Yeah.
And then sort of just a brawl over at the enemy team's home, the defending team's home.
Yeah, look, that was definitely a strange one. I don't think we've seen too many Himmelsdorf matches play out like that. But look at that, even Mudame in the AMX 1390, there was 1,500 damage. You know, not something that we see very often at all from that Tier 8 light tank. So, I mean, he's got to be pretty happy with that. But at the end of the day, did just need to clutch it out a little bit more. I felt as though if he just got that one extra shot to the AMX 50B, and maybe gotten around to probably needs to get around to the back of the IS-4 to you know, have a chance at taking him out, then he could have been a hero. Fortunately, he wasn't.
Oh, we'll have to see what Caren Tiger decide to do on their defending side of Himmels, and how many Mausers we'll see roll out onto this one. And a surprisingly low number, considering what we've seen the trends start to develop overseas. We have seen 3 and 4 kind of be the sweet spot. Maybe the APAC region still a little bit hesitant to throw all their eggs in one basket at the moment. You know, play around with the Type 5 heavies, the IS-4s as well, before really just going, okay, 4 Maus, let's just go. Slow and steady wins the race, right?
Yeah, I wonder. But look, there on Himmelsdorf, I think it will be, generally speaking, kind of an easier time for the attackers to put the pressure on. I think we saw that in the team efficiency game as well, where, you know, now that these attackers do have tanks like the Maus that can just drive down lines and not take damage by angling, it does make it a little bit easier to attack on Himmelsdorf, whereas before, you know, you'd often be very worried about, you know, taking 1 million damage on the cross of the banana line. But now that every team picks these heavies, you know, you're not going to get punished for those early movements as much. So there is different strategies that open up, like, you know, sort of like that one that we saw there, where all of those Darkwolves tanks just spread out, fanned out, took their own little individual fights, or, you know, 2v2 fights, etc., and won them.
Yeah, I think you've really you're really onto something here with the attackers now have a little bit more wiggle room to work with in terms of how far they can get before they start taking heaps of damage. And like we said, that banana push, that's how team efficiency won it out, is they pretty much just had Safi sitting there absorbing 5.3k worth of damage before anyone on Darkwolves, anyone on who the best Horsemen could even get some permanent damage on the board. And maybe if Darkwolves can utilize the effective angling of the Maus in the banana, then maybe we could see them be able to pierce the defenses here.
Maybe. Who knows? I think here on the next half on Himmelsdorf, I mean, I would like to see, like, I really like that T95 there by the Darkwolves. I think it was was that Caren Tiger? Forget.
That was Darkwolves.
Yeah, it was. Sorry, that was.
I know, it feels like so long ago. There's games that go for so long.
Exactly.
It's a new meta. Get used to it, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to be here a while.
Exactly. Here we go. There we go.
Two-handed Maus. That is 6.
That is so disgusting, the amount of armor and HP on the Caren Tiger lineup. 3 Mausers.
Grab your pillow, Alex. This is going to be a long one.
Mausers. 9,600 HP, just flat out. Type 5 heavy. another 2900 HP. IS-4, another 2500 HP. Two T95s, another what, 1850 HP times 2. Like, that is insane. And we can see there on the rollout that Caren Tiger have 18,600 HP on their
That's
team.
got to be a record.
That probably is a record.
Usually it's the sweet spot's like 13 for most
Yeah,
teams.
exactly. Back in the bad chat days, you know, we used
The
to see a little,
the bat chat era.
yeah. Well, we used to see a little, you know, grill, a couple of bad chats, maybe some AMX 50Bs.
Chuck a 113 in sometimes if you're feeling
yeah,
spicy.
exactly.
But long gone are those days, it would seem. As the mouse, now the big kid on the block, ready to steal the lunch money of any of the smaller tanks who decide that they want to hang around his area. This is his hood now.
Yep, exactly. So, here, Caren Tiger do have...
That was a funny shot.
do have those two T95s, and I like that. I think Caren Tiger, all of their tank picks are very much on meta, so to speak. And of course, for those of you that maybe kind of don't know what we're talking about, whenever we refer to the meta, of course, the meta, short for meta game, is the preferred style of play here. And ever since these changes to the mouse in the latest patch and the changes to the Type 5 Heavy, of course, we've definitely seen a resurgence of, well, I suppose, not even a resurgence, because I don't think they were ever really picked, but definitely seen them picked a lot.
You see Godly moving up that Type 5 Heavy, slowly but surely, making his way downtown, rolling fast. Huge tank, an absolute behemoth.
Yeah, and you know what, for any of you that played the Type 5 Heavy before the latest patch, you know how painful it was to play. It was like, it was slow, like it had a pretty bad gun that was in no way special. It didn't have enough armor to compete with tier 10s. It was all around a pretty terrible tank, to be quite honest. But after the latest patch, Type 5, you know, it's got that new armor, it's got that new gun. It has got, obviously, the tier 10 derp gun, which shoots just HE and HE variants. And, you know, I think 1400 base damage on that one with 75 mils of pen. So, very interesting new tank in tier 10 almost, or at least in terms of playstyle with that gun.
You know things are getting slow when the cameras are starting to get real artistic with their shots, Alex. There's only so many ways you can plate up a T95 not moving to make it look appealing, and props to them, because it's working. It's working. It's keeping me awake for now, but both teams, as we're hitting that 3 minutes in the game mark, haven't done anything, actually. Oh, actually, as I say that, Revolution, he's been shot.
He's been shot by the Type 5 Heavy, and you know that's the great thing about the Type 5 Heavy on Himmelsdorf here. This is where it really thrives in these trades, where it can just get these, you know, free trades across onto tanks like the Mouse. Oh,
would you look at that? 72 damage.
I don't know why Nadeko was aiming there unless he was like trying to actually get a pen, which seems a little bit silly. Only 72 damage with the splash.
Yeah.
Probably could have got a little bit more than that, but anyways. Going to be seeing Backong moving up the hill now. Oh, and there's a big shot onto Yui.
Yeah, he's going to be copping that one. And now we thought tier 8 tankers had a rough time in the last meta. Welcome to the heavy tank meta. Yui and your little AMX 1390, you're just going to be copping big shots and dealing no damage. You can see the hill, it's going to get started out here, but still a minute 40 away from a victory. Doubt it's going to be Caren Tiger's main source.
Yeah, look, right now, Darkwolves, I mean, they have got themselves on towards a cap. We've got that on 32% at the moment. So it is kind of slowly ticking over for them. Caren Tiger do need to move, do need to rotate. And I think this time we might be seeing something a little bit different. It's looking like we will, in fact, be getting an old-fashioned... oh, no. I was about to say an old-fashioned brawl, but oh, Zenlon's actually gone down there.
Wish we saw that instead of a very slow-moving angle on the AMX 1390. You're getting a bit carried away here. But as we jump back into the game, Darkwolves now getting quite close to getting the first kill of the game onto Zenlon. as they slowly but surely move their way up. I do want to jump on board with their team speak and have a listen to how they plan to eke out this victory.
맞지 않냐 그 자신?
나 요조에서 계속 억울함만 줘가지고.
뭐 통곡 저 자리에 또 와서
장정은 1번 라인에 없잖아. 통곡 딴 데 떴잖아.
어이 야 있잖아.
마우스 있다.
야,
뭐야? 어디한테 맞았어?
마우스.
아,
마우스 숨겨놨구나. 아예 안 조졌어. 그냥 라인전 이득 취해. 싸우서
아니
이겼어.
그게 아니라
4분 남았어.
이제 저랑 숨으면
우리 오공비 그냥
램버트가
더 적극적으로 해볼 수 있나? 램버트가 물어.
허허.
오공비 딜할 수 있는 거 많이 있어?
많이는 없어.
그러면 움직여 그냥 더 적극적으로 언덕 내려가서 여기서 막 통수 따고 해도 되니까. 니 어차피 라인만 길게 주면서 돌아다니면 딜 다 빨 수 있어.
기다려봐.
이게 마우스가 왜 저기 있냐 근데?
아 이거 지나가다 좀 맞는데 이러면. 어떻게 안 맞고 못 지나가나요? 오케이 지나가야겠다. 한 대 맞고.
아 고폭 씨발.
영매 사려가.
알았다.
아 이거 안 되겠는데 내가 앞으로 나가야 되는데?
나가.
아씨 사려야겠다. 안 내민다. 고폭 날라와.
There you go. Well, looks like the Caren Tiger lineup has more holes in it than Swiss cheese at the moment, Max, as the Darkwolves definitely been poking their way through the Tigers.
They're getting there. They really are. Slowly but surely, emphasis on the slowly, as that seems to be the new style of tanking at the moment. Batkong does cop a shot here. Can he really return any damage though? And Caren Tigers are actually
They're fighting bad. They're actually looking better because they do have a 3,000 HP advantage at the moment.
I was going to say they're getting close to the capture, but it got reset. So.
Yeah, well, exactly. Darkwolves not going to be getting that capture at all. And again, we're just going to be seeing this kind of slow cap pressure play. Oh, that's a shot onto...
One mouse down, 2 to go.
Yeah, there you go. So it's a good shot by Caren Tiger, and that definitely puts them in out the lead. They've got more guns on the field now. AQOV struggling a little bit. His loader's dead as well in the mouse, so that is really going to impact the DPM. Make it a bit of a struggle, but look at that T110E3. Caviar, he still hasn't taken a shot, obviously doing such a great job. Oh, Batkong in the AMX-50B up in the hill's been doing work.
Yeah, he's really found a great angle to rain down the Hellfire on those two mouses, as they are getting quite low, both on 800 HP apiece, but Hellcry still unscathed on his. Gomley getting lower, 1 minute on the cap for Darkwolves. I think Caren Tiger should have no trouble being able to go in and get a break. And look where Hellcry is on the map. That has to be the farthest back mouse I've ever seen positioned.
Yeah, exactly. Hellcry just played that one so passively. You know what I legitimately think the issue here for Darkwolves is? Like,
on me.
Well, I think even if they were ahead in this battle, the issue would be that they don't actually have enough time to deal the damage that they need to deal to take down Caren Tiger.
Yeah,
we need longer rounds.
Yeah, I honestly thought that's where you were going with that one. There's not enough time in a round to deal this much damage. And I think you're right. I think this could be a serious issue for some of the teams here if they're going to start running 18k HP lineups. Just 10 minutes isn't enough if they're brawling from the start. 15 seconds, they need to get the reset onto Lambert. It is going to happen, so 3 tanks left on the field. Darkwolves should be going down here as Batkong finally falls.
Yeah, well, they should be. Yeah, Gomley going down, I think.
Seals the deal.
Exactly, it seals the deal. There's not much else that they could have done there. And nice little shot into the side of Spitz. You're going to be seeing Lambert, Hellcry still duking it out, but like... Even Caren Tiger, I think, is going to struggle to take these two mouses that are still left down for 44 seconds. So, oh my goodness.
If you had asked me what is one of the issues we have in World of Tanks, short rounds wouldn't have been one of them, Alex. I did not think we needed longer rounds, but they might be able to actually get the two mouse down in that 45-second window with 5 tanks firing down on them. Wouldn't that be a Christmas miracle here as Lambert 1.1k HP left.
Yeah, and Hellcry should be able to go through the turret there. Yep, he does.
Beautiful stuff.
Nice little shot into the side of him. Yupa gets a good shot as well, and it's looking like Lambert, yep, gets done out by the Type 5 Heavy. for a 3-1.
Yeah.
So they do manage to clean up all of that damage.
Yep, great
That's a lot of
stuff.
damage.
That's going to be Himmelsdorf done and dusted for our second series of broadcast, of course, the third series of the night.
Course.
Always gets a little bit confusing when these things happen, but Caren Tiger off to a great mid-game here. Looked good for Darkwolves about halfway through. Again, it's really hard to pinpoint what went wrong and where it went wrong for Darkwolves because there's just so much HP for these tanks to play around with, really long reload times, so the damage is coming out very slowly, and you're not really sure just how quickly a round is going to completely sway into another team.
I think a lot of that honestly was just Caren Tiger winning out lots of trades in their tanks. I mean, you know, we look at the Caren Tiger lineup. It had, you know, those 2 T95s on it. They were ricocheting lots of damage, I'm sure. You know, it had obviously all of those Mausers on it. The IS-4 on it as well, I do believe. You know, it had lots of good tanks to deal with the Darkwolves lineup, and obviously just so much hit points spread between, you know, every single tank on in their entire lineup. Like, so Caren Tiger winning out those trades effectively just let them get on top of Darkwolves. I think maybe if we're trying to look for plays that Caren Tiger made that really put them up ahead, that nice hill push from the AMX50B, you know, that was some good stuff by I think it might have been Back Kong on the Darkwolves. Wasn't quite enough to win it for them though.
Yeah, Darkwolves just had a little bit of a rough time on Himmels. They were able to snag themselves one round, so props to them. And God, look at the damage! It's always taken me. It's always taken me by surprise here. It's just, the T5 Type 5 Heavy's doing work. As long as T95 did considerable amount as well.
Yeah, well, that's the good thing about the Type 5 Heavies, right? Is that in a super extended fight like that, it doesn't really matter that they won't be getting their full kind of damage per minute out. Like, the fact is that you should still be able to deal damage with every shot, and that's a crucial thing. So it's all about effective damage per minute, and when you've got maybe a little bit lower effective damage per minute than something like an FV215B, it doesn't really matter if you've got, you know, a little bit more HP, a little bit more armor to back it up, and you know, the chance to deal damage on every shot. So to have a guaranteed amount of damage that you can rely on whenever you click that trigger.
Oh, poor Yui. He clicked the trigger once and had no damage to rely on that game.
Poor
He
Yui
just got smashed.
in the AMX 1390.
Yeah, he was just basically sitting on that hill, scrounging up points. Unlucky for him. Like, the short end of the stick just got shorter, Alex.
Not wrong. You're not wrong.
Tier 8s.
Yeah, and look, I mean, all of those tanks on the Caren Tiger lineup, you know, the Mausers, you know, dealing damage. Even Zenlon, who got blown up fairly early on, you know, got one good shot off. Woodame didn't do too well, but interesting, actually, we did see Bakong down the bottom there.
Yeah.
In that AMX50B. I thought he was going to be a little bit higher up after getting shots on the hill, but maybe that was a big problem, I guess, for the Darkwolves, is that they had an AMX50B that was alive for so much of the battle, and effectively he's only able to get like really 2 shots off there, maybe 3. So I think that's actually a bigger issue for the Darkwolves than anything else. When you've got an AMX50B, you've got that mobility. I don't see a reason in this current sort of metagame with all of these heavy tanks to push it up onto the hill where you know, yes, it's going to be safe from something like a Type 5. Yes, it's going to be fairly safe from, you know, something like a Maus. But the fact is, you need it down there, you need it close, you need every single one of those AMX50B shots to be hitting and going through. There's no point going for safe damage, right? You just need to be putting out the damage per minute. That is why we see these teams. Well, that is the whole purpose of the AMX50B. Now that we see all the Mausers picked, you know, it is just to deal damage and to deal more damage than anything else. And if it can stay alive long enough, then, you know, I think it can fulfill that role. But obviously not when it's up on the hill, dealing not much damage.
Yeah, and that's just the another byproduct of how the meta is slowly evolving. Is just some of these tanks, they try to do what they can, and there's just better places for better tanks on the map right now. The AMX50B up on the hill, you'd think, like Alex said, it would be one of the main damage dealers, but if it's not finding it, then potentially that's just a waste of a tank. Just chuck another Maus down in the thick of the fight, and it's going to do the job better and potentially soak up more damage. And we could potentially be seeing that coming into the next map. Ghost Town, one of the maps that is very dominated by AMX 50Bs now, could potentially just be dominated by the Mouse. And Caren Tiger, a team that love to run multiple Mouse onto Ghost Town.
And you know what's funny? Like, I think I'm probably going to cop a little bit of flack for saying this from
I
Jordan.
love it when you hit us.
But
You know what's funny? And then cop a little flack, Alex.
But yeah, well, no, hear me out here. I think on Ghost Town, I have, well, on any map really, previously, I think everyone knows my kind of dislike of the Type 57 Heavy, the T57
I do know
Heavy.
your dislike of the time.
But honestly, now that we're seeing this new like Super Mouse meta,
Yeah.
like I actually think it's kind of become better as a side effect of that, because even though it's an auto loader, even though it's got 4 shots, it does have 340 mils of pen.
Let's go here, man.
Yeah, it does have 340 mils of pen, which like now penetration is effectively a more valuable stat.
That's true.
Going up against Mouses, so an extra 10 mils. You know, that's why we see the 1-2-1 picked for some reasons, or partially. So getting a T57 in here wouldn't be too bad, I think, for these teams, and essentially using it as just a damage machine, because that's really what the T57 Heavy is. And the best way to counter lots of HP that can't react very fast and is very slow is just by being able to put out 4 shots into it in 7 seconds and just run away.
I love how open-minded you're being tonight, Alex, about the T57 Heavy. You're really giving it another chance.
Things have changed.
It
was terrible before. It was terrible.
They are changing, and we, as progressive individuals, we have to change with them, Alex. So potentially welcoming the T57 Heavy back to Ghost Town.
See, that's bad. Darkwolves, why are you picking AMX 5120s? Please. I don't really like that, but they are going to be picking the AMX 5120s. Here on Ghost Town.
3 mouse each.
And 3 mouse.
Yeah. Could the day of the AMX 50B on Ghost Town be over? I do not remember the last time we saw Ghost Town without at least 1 or 2 AMX 50Bs. They really were, for me, the tank that reigned supreme on Ghost Town. And when you see the Mouse just completely taking over the role of one of the highest damage auto loaders, it's very interesting. It's very showing the new direction of the tanks.
Yeah, look, I'm still not a massive fan of those 5120s here for the Darkwolves. I mean, yeah, they've got basically the same gun as the 50Bs, but just general characteristics are not great, and anything will go through them, So, not a massive fan. But anyways, look, we'll see how they go. Maybe they can do some work. Who knows?
Oh. Caren Tiger up 3-1. Ghost Town is one of their better maps, so coming into this one, I'm really expecting Darkwolves to be very much have their backs up against the wall, and you can see there's no Udez on Ghost Town defense either. So the rise of the Mouse rather kind of completely cutting that from its viabilities.
Yep, that's right. We see that tier 8 Udez would just struggle a little bit too much to get through the Mouse. So that's basically the reason that we don't see it on the defense here. Caren Tiger instead opting for that high alpha damage and high trade potential of those WZ-111s. Of course, that Chinese tier 10 heavy tank that does have a pretty nice gun on it.
Yeah, if they're able to get a few good shots, that could pretty much be the lights out for Darkwolves, especially if they catch those AMX 5120s, like you said, paper thin.
Yeah,
and goes through them.
And I think the AMX 5120, it's got a really bad win rate so far this season. I think it's something like 30% or so. I haven't seen it pick too much, but it just doesn't seem to fit in. But who knows? Maybe the Darkwolves know something I don't. Although we are going to be seeing Gomley getting on towards the cap.
Oh. Looks like Lambert has copped a shot here at a 400 damage shell. Slowly but surely, the map begins to unfold as Darkwolves will force Caren Tiger to play into their hand, but they're the ones getting damaged because of it. AkioV coming for a little bit of a cheeky flank. Wonder where he's going to unleash the wrath of the WZ-111.
Yeah, I think I'm liking this positioning here from Caren Tiger. They're kind of, rotating around, not staying stationary, not just trying to go for the kind of derpy
There's no rush.
trades. Yeah, there's no rush. So, Mudame here, when Mudame comes around, he should be able to get some good shots off in that WZ-111. And, it's really going to spook these two guys in the 113s when he pops around behind.
Yep, you can see Maro copped a little bit of flack
Yeah,
right
there
now,
we
but
go.
oh no, the 113s have been completely caught out there trying to unload their shells in to whatever's right in front of them, but it's going to be the mouse of Maro, and slowly but surely the triple mouse threat is moving up, and shots in the back. Revolution's track has been damaged. Yui copping a bit of flack as well, somehow still standing. Remember, no one...
Nice. Look at that, Hellcry taking down Revolution there. Excellent flank from the two Batchats of Caren Tiger. Just like that, two of the Darkwolves fall.
Yeah, they get a great amount of kills on the board here, and Darkwolves reeling for that one. They are able to answer with one onto Hellcry, so that's going to be an autoloader off the field for Caren Tiger, but I don't think they care too much, as now all the mouse have grouped up together, giving AkiOV a little bit of a shield to retreat and reposition with. Caviar very low. He's got to be careful. Backong on the reload as well. That gives a lot of play time for Caren Tiger. 3 mouse on the 2 flag. They need to go for the reset. 15 seconds left. You can see slowly but surely they're making their way through. Ooh, don't shoot your teammate there. Back to 30 seconds, so that's good stuff.
Yeah, good little reset there. They shouldn't have any more troubles getting the future resets, I would imagine.
Caviar.
Yeah, Caviar going to be going down, and just like that, Darkwolves are 3 tanks down. They haven't managed to take out more than 1 tank on the Caren Tiger side as well. 13 seconds left on the cap, though. There we go.
Yep, they're just going to get another reset there. Modame pays for it with his life, unfortunately, but that's for the greater cause. Slowly but surely, Caren Tiger mosey their way on in, and this is what the future World of Tanks looks like, Alex.
I think the Deco just got like a 100 damage ram onto the other mouse without taking any damage himself, and I'm not sure how he got that. Whether I don't think he's running a super heavy spool ladder, but I would be surprised if he was. Anyways, not too sure how that happened. Oh, I suppose he actually ran it with the front of his tank that has more armor than the side of Gomley, so maybe that's why. But anyways, AkiOV going to be finishing off Gomley.
Right. Those WZs are really paying their dividends.
Yeah,
getting some really good shots into the mouse here as Gomley. Shouldn't be too much longer before he eventually falls down, and great start to Ghost Town coming out of Caren Tiger, really utilizing those heavy tanks just much better, and the WZs to perfection.
Honestly, I actually think it was the Batchats there in particular as well that made the big play for Caren Tiger. They got a really nice rotate around the side, and those two 113s that, a 113, it is quite a big damage threat. It can go through the mouses fairly easily from the front. They were just shut down completely by those two Batchats on Caren Tiger. They just flanked all the way around, all the way behind them, got those nice shots into the back of them from the buildings, and the AMX 5120s weren't there in response. Weren't able to respond to those Batchats in time, and that was just 2 easy kills there for Caren Tiger. It let them push up, it gave them more map control, let them get those really, really easy resets into the flag, and I think from then on it was just curtains for the Darkwolves.
Yeah, that was just played to perfection. They had a strategy in mind, they implemented it, and they executed it so well, and it's really tough to pull off a flank like that, especially when you're under the pressure of the flag. If you overstay your welcome, if you stay too long, if you don't execute it quickly enough, you can really find yourself potentially looking at a sneaky capture point there. But they played it well, they stuck to the strategy, it all worked out, and then they were, like you said, able to just get free shots on the hill, free sets whenever they chose.
Simple as that, really. So, look, Caren Tiger looking strong coming in towards this next half of Ghost Town, without a doubt. And we'll be interested to see who on Caren Tiger actually managed to get the top damage in that one. But we could see there that Polly, he definitely put out a lot of damage in that Batchat before he went down, getting a full clip off before I think he was clipped out by one of those AMX 5120s.
Yeah, I think Caren Tiger really have a good grasp on an understanding of how to play not only with the mouse, but around the mouse. They don't go for those head-on fights, which we saw the 113s for Darkwolves doing. They focus on the other tanks that Darkwolves are running, get them off the field first, and then they just fall like a line of dominoes after.
Yep, that's it. And to no surprise, there is no AMX 5120s up the top of the scoreboard there, but there is WZ 111s.
Yeah.
Which is what we expected.
Quite high on
Quite
AKIOV's
high,
part as well.
Absolutely, AKIOV, he did work there, 2.7k damage. Polly, again in that bad shot, got 2 full clips off, 3.2k
Jeez.
damage. Murame there, 2k damage. And yeah, that's how you use the mobility of the bat chats, I guess, and proving that the bat chats are still quite a potent pick. Unfortunately, there for the Darkwolves, those AMX 5120s, 1700 damage, okay, and Caviar 1200 damage, pretty poor, to be honest.
Well, this is I think the third time actually we've seen Darkwolves try something different and get a little bit smacked down because of it. And I understand it is the new meta. It is this is the best time to experiment. Maybe the mouse isn't as strong as everyone thought it was. Well, that's what Darkwolves may be thinking and then they can do something a little bit cheeky to catch everyone off guard, but it really isn't working out for them. It does seem like the initial impressions of the mouse are quite accurate.
Yes, no doubt about it. And the mouse isn't going anywhere until it's nerfed. I think that is pretty much as simple as that, because there is nothing in the game that inherently counters a tank that does a pretty fair amount of damage. You know, not a terrible amount of damage. A tank that has impenetrable armor in quite a few cases.
What
and
would
has
you do,
3.2 thousand HP.
Would you nerf the mouse, or would you buff the other tanks and
Well,
bring them up to the same level?
You don't want power creep, and if you buff other tanks, then you need to buff every other tier 10 tank, because the mouse is just on another level right now.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do that. If I was a Wargaming balance designer, then put on the spot, then I think something like I understand what they wanted to do. So obviously what they wanted to do is separate the mouse from everything else and turned it into what it was always intended to be as a tank in terms of design. A super tank, exactly, a super heavy. But you really do need to pay the price for it. And at the moment, the mouse doesn't have really any of the drawbacks of being a super heavy. Yes, it's a little bit slow, but my TOG's very slow as well. And it doesn't completely wreck everyone in tier 6. Like, you need to make it, I think, slower. You need to make the gun, like, the gun buffs weren't really needed along with the armor buffs, you know? Like, at the moment, it just feels like, you know, Megazord.
It's a battle station on wheels.
Exactly. You know,
I feel like the health buff really threw me through a loop. I can understand buffing something's armor to make it a little bit stronger, but like you said, if you're going to be adding something to it, you need to be taking away. I feel like maybe if that 200 health had got reducted from it, then give it at least like if you're going to be actually penetrating these shots, reward the players for doing so. Because not only have you made it ridiculously hard to penetrate, even if you can penetrate them, you're still punished by just an obscenely large HP pool.
Yeah, and look, here we are. We're going to be seeing a few mouses again. Darkwolves actually are going to be going with that Udez on the defense and the AMX 50B. So nothing too crazy, but yeah, you know what, guys? Let us know how you think you would.
Oh, I'd love to see community feedback.
Nerf the mouse with.
I'm sure we got some colourful responses.
WGL APAC.
At Go Gadget Cast.
Yeah, but look, I like the identity of the mouse now. I think it is a little bit clearer. I think they've definitely hit the nail on the head in that regard. But look, I think just make it less usable. It's too easy to use right now. I think if you decrease the move speed even more, because again you've added more armor, it makes sense, and just make that gun essentially worse. Like make it. I mean, not give it less penetration, because you don't want it just to be a complete noob cannon that stomps anything under its tier. But yeah, just make it less accurate or something like that. Less accurate, more dispersion on the move, so you have to be completely stationary when you shoot.
That makes a lot of sense.
You know.
No, it looks like you're getting a lot of thought, Alex. I'm sure it's going to be the topic of hot discussion for many weeks to come while it reigns supreme, and I'm sure it's going to cause a lot of smash keyboards and a lot of frowny faces in chat.
Yeah, that's right. So, but honestly, we think about pre-patch, and pre-patch on, at least for WGL APAC, the mouse, it had a 48.5% win rate, which is it's not bad. It's actually pretty, you know, essentially it means it's a tank that you can pick, and if you have the right strategy for it, you know, you can win or lose with it. It's not super good. It's not super bad. It's a, I think, well-balanced tank, you could say, pre-patch.
Well, how are you going to calculate the extra win percentages? Because every game, a mouse is going to win, a mouse is going to lose, because it's going to be on both teams.
It's true, but the win percentages will, if there's 4 mouse on one team and 3 mouse on the other, then the win percentage of the mouse will go up. So,
let's see how much that changes towards the end of the season. I'm sure it's going to be something interesting to look back on and potentially laugh. Alex, remember when the mouse was an indestructible battle tower?
yeah. Remember when the mouse was a mobile bunker exactly like it was designed?
With a bit more firepower than intended?
Probably.
Yep. But look,
look at that, look at that machine gun on it, or like secondary cannon. That looks like it'd go through a few tanks.
Yeah, that looks like the primary cannon for a lot of tanks, actually.
Yeah, like punch through a lol tractor. Easy. But anyways, right now we do have the Darkwolves defending it out. Bakong and Spitz were looking for the flank, but now we have actually got Helkarai and Polly, the Bat Chat bros for Caren Tiger, up in that one flag, getting that cap going. Bakong and Spitz going to have to rotate, although you'd expect Caviar to actually be able to get the resets there, so maybe Gomley just needs to spot them. We might be seeing the brawl breaking out soon.
You can see the Triple Mouse threat making its way up, getting a lot of damage down onto Revolution. They're going to clip him out to about a half HP, and Yupa not finding that one. Revolution going to back off, but once again we see the mouse versus mouse combat. The Deco is able to pen one onto Lambert. Yui's going to be rotating around. Lamb's got to be careful right now. The Deco's going to be off the reload. Can he get another shot off before he gets round?
No. Misses that one, but the Udez is not going to be going through Nadeko there. I don't think the Udez is going to be going through much at the moment in terms of Mousers. So, look, the Darkwolves not off to a great start here on the defense. At least they have managed to take out the driver of Marrow, but here we go. We're seeing a bit of a flankaroo coming in from Polly and Helkarai. They're going to be looking to get behind those Darkwolves defenders.
Oh, this is what worked out for them so well in the last round. If they're able to just completely cause a ruckus and add a little bit of chaos into the mix, that could be huge. They're going to get smacked a little bit onto Polly. But he's going to be safe for now. Around the corner, Helkarai says, "Laters, I'm out, yo." Completely ditches him.
There we go, and Gomley getting some nice shots on towards that mouse. Yui and Lambert actually really punishing those Bat Chats. Those Bat Chats have not had a good time. Bakong and Spitz just getting pummeled down to within one shot of death, and Polly is actually going to be going down there as well, so Yui getting a good shot. But look, I think right now the Darkwolves are just looking a little bit too encircled by the Caren Tiger tanks.
Oh, Helkarai, he's found out Spitz, but he's not getting any of the shots in. He could potentially get another one on Bakong if he's gets the shot, looking for it. No! Revolution's going to block that one away. Bakong does go down in the process, though. One more shot into Revolution could do it, and that's all he needs. Helkarai with a huge triple kill. Gets out alive to boot. 4 tanks left alive for Darkwolves. Caren Tiger should have no trouble cleaning up this last round.
Yep, there we go. Good stuff from Caren Tiger, and even though there is 2 almost full HP Mousers left, it's not too much they're going to be able to do right now. Caviar goes down. I don't think the Udez has had much point or much purpose at all during this battle. I think now something like a tier 8 artillery piece would probably have more of an impact, but it's too late for that for the Darkwolves to think about, because this will be it for them, getting taken out here on Ghost Town. And well, one thing I'm very happy about, Max, is that your prediction isn't right.
Yeah, we went for that 5-2, but Darkwolves unfortunately couldn't get themselves over the line, so you get safe with 1 point, Alex, and we don't get an extra bit of a leg up. That's going to be Darkwolves Caren Tiger, taking the W over Darkwolves 5-1. Very, very convincing stuff here. It seems that Caren Tiger really have a handle on what's going on.
Yep, there we go. Pretty simple stuff there, and look, I think overall, I mean, can't really fault it. Caren Tiger really know their stuff. We expected them to come into this knowing their stuff with the Mousers. It's the tank that they picked a lot of times previously. It's a tank that they, out of all of WGL APAC, had the most experience with. And now that it's really good, they're showing it right there. 5-1 win against the team that they went 2-5 to the last time they played.
Yeah, I feel like this could have potentially been what helped center Caren Tigers, potentially eliminating all that crazy inconsistencies they've been having recently. Just a nice, solid, slow gameplay that they can really strategize and methodically act out on those strategies without any risk of crazy flanks and fast-paced plays when they need to make split-second decisions. I think that's exactly what they need. That's exactly the type of style of play which helps them work well.
That's right. Yep, absolutely. So Caren Tiger definitely going to be happy with that win. They need every point they can get, and definitely going to be happy that they didn't take it to a tiebreaker either, like they are sometimes known to do. Let's take a look at some of the top players in that one.
We don't call him Caren tiebreaker for nothing, and you can see Spitz going to be getting a nice triple kill here, which really helped them, you know, take out all those auto-loaders from the Darkwolves.
Yep. Hellcry doing a bit of damage there as well, but look at that. Mouse, 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 mouse. Reminds me of like...
You gotta take a photo of this, Alex, just for reference one day.
Legit, like, all of those mouses, it reminds me of when we kind of... Yeah, almost like a cliff game, back when the bat chat was just the... You only pick bat chats. It's like bat chat, bat chat, bat chat, bat chat, bat chat, bat chat. But now it's just mouse, 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 mouse. And this is going to become a much more popular
Yeah, I know we're beating a bit of a dead horse here, but there's something wrong with that picture. No one tank should have that much dominance.
Well, honestly, the bat chat had it before.
I understand that, but the bat chat kind of like... Yeah, I guess.
You being a bat chat favoritism... Are you playing some favoritism there? Bat chat,
Spitz, Batcong, and Polly aren't, that's for sure.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible. Well, yeah, so those bat chats obviously not working at all. And that's the issue, you know, with the bat chats. Like if the mouse just is facing them, then the bat chats don't do much because they can't really go through the mouse properly.
Yeah, they and this game, out of any, really displays what we're going to be seeing for the next few weeks. It's going to be bat chat sitting on 0 damage. The top 6 damage dealers in the game will be the mouse. And buckle up.
I did actually think the UDES would have dealt less damage than that, but he actually dealt 1900.
Really? I must have missed that one. So he was able to get some shots in when it counted. Maybe the dream for the UDES defense on Ghost Town isn't dead.
I didn't mind it. I mean, 1900, like, obviously I think I saw at least one of those shots, and probably would have been more of those shots. Ricochet, because it's a UDES, but still, you can't complain about 1900. But there we go, top damage dealers. And it's not actually Uper up the top there for Caren Tiger. It's actually Nadeko with 3.1 thousand damage. It's definitely a good mark to kind of zero ourselves out. We did see that 3.2k top damage from Team Efficiency's top damage dealer in the last game at 3.1k, still very respectable. And look, we said at the start of this match, Max, that Gomley was the one to look out for on the Darkwolves. He is Mr. Super Heavy Tank for their lineup, and he really showed it today. He's had an indirect buff as well. Yeah, Gomley and Lambert really pulling their weight here tonight. It's just if the rest of the team can kind of catch up a little bit, and I do expect them to, the more they play, to kind of get into their rhythm again in this new patch. Obviously, we saw them try a few new things here. We got the AMX 120, was it? And the Batchat Tier 10 artillery. And neither of them worked out very well for the Darkwolves here, so maybe when they kind of stabilize themselves, we'll see them resurge a little bit. Yeah, and I would definitely like to see a few more Tier 10 artilleries. But yeah, look at that Batcong. Speaking of that, he was the one in the Tier 10 artillery, and yeah, he was also in a few lower tier tanks, but 1k average damage. What else? Revolution did not have a good night at all with 1325. You know, Yui, not a great night either with only 1400 now. Pretty rough stuff from some of those Darkwolves guys, unfortunately. Yeah. Well, we said at the start of the show, this is definitely Caren Tiger's meta. They've been playing this stuff before it was strong, before it was popular. Before it was cool, before it was hip. they're the hipsters of the APAC region, and I imagine they'll continue to play with it throughout this entire post-buff, post-mouse rulings. Yes, I would think so. So, look, overall, pretty solid stuff there, Max, and, well, I'm sure that our next match will be Mousefield as well. Yeah, I'm really excited for the next one because, of course, it's going to be EL Gaming taking on B Gaming. Once a rivalry of old, but
we have seen EL really reign supreme, and I'm very interested to see their handle on the meta, because being probably the best team we have in our region, I really want to see how they adapt. So definitely not a game you guys want to miss. We're going to take a very short break compared to our last one this time, only 10 minutes, so feel free to go get a drink and come back. We'll be right back. See you in 10.